Many time management tips are flawed. Today, we'll discuss which set of strategy is more valuable, time management or energy management.
Private practice owners, are you ready to rewrite the rules for your practice so you can have more time off, a great team, and more income while delivering better patient care? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to The Provider's Edge TV. I'm your host, Sabrina Runbeck. I'm a provider, an international peak performance keynote speaker, and a best-selling author. My guests and I help providers like you to control your practice, control your life, and control your future. This is your defining moment to be a disruptor in healthcare. Have you heard the story? A man walks down the street and he sees a dog moaning. He turns to the guy sitting next to the dog, thinking that's the owner, asking, "Is this dog in pain? Why is he moaning?" The person responded, "Yeah, he's in pain because he's sitting on a nail." The man asked, "Why is he sitting on a nail? Why he's not moving?" The owner said, "Because it's not painful enough for him." How many of us and how many times have we gone into the situation feeling like it's not painful enough, so we're just going to keep on doing the same thing that we have always been doing, and not knowing that it's truly what's costing us. As high-achieving healthcare leaders and providers, we have many things that we want to do. Sometimes it feels like we might be holding 10 plates in our head and don't know which one to drop and don't want to drop any of them because you're maintaining it. And some other time it feels like, while you're working so hard on many things, but it's not making progress. It's just not moving fast enough. Even all of those realize you have to cut back or delegate. It's very then difficult to figure out which one to focus on, which one to keep off, because the behavior changes is hard. And sometimes we like the way that we've been doing things. I recently spoke to a cardiologist, Dr. M. He started his career just like many new grads with a large organization, a large hospital system. Once he started having kids, he wanted to have more flexibility, more things on his term. So he opened up a practice, eventually steadily growing, expanding to the point that he has multiple partners. Then he wanted to, again, cut back down his hours or perhaps getting a faculty position, but he just keep pushing that back. The plan back year after year, thinking kids need to go to college. I need to keep making more money. And I needed to take them on a big vacation and promise them needed to keep working harder. But each decision is actually impacting life and making your course correction in a different direction. Now, we all have to reassess how we are doing as a leader, as a financial generator, as a provider, and as a head of a household, or perhaps that additional support. And are you doing things that truly give you a peace of mind, or is it truly robbing your attention? And the way that we become most effective is the faster we get to where we need to go, then the more effective we can be as a person. Because we know any period time of life, we have many different things we wanted to accomplish. Then it's all about what's the primary thing? What's that bigger vision aligning in your future with your current workflow? And whatever you have as the right resources, right energy, right time to get you there. So some people might say, Sabrina, if only I have more time, energy, I can do so much more in my life. Do you think that's also true for you? Have you also taken a step back to ponder if you have known better strategies, something worked for you better specifically, then you can master your time and your energy? Because time management is traditional, think it's equivalent of productivity, and many people have thought about use time block and Pomodoro technique. Those are great. I'm a big promoter of them. But if you dive into those techniques without knowing what you need to do specifically, then you can be doing the wrong thing over and over again and never get to where you need to go. I always believe in creating your own version of organized chaos. The more that we do, the more that we put on our to-do list and we check them off, our brain is saying, "Ooh, that feels really good. Reward you, do more of that." But then we also know it's not effective. It's not impactful. The game of doing more and more, that's how people get trapped into wake up or grind mentality every day. And certainly Dr. M experienced that. He starts seeing more patients, more than 20 a day. He started looking for other opportunity to expand. However, he only did so much because he only has so much time and energy in his hand. He wanted a way out. We can't just have a way out and throw things on the wall and see what sticks. We have to plan things out. So those bursts of energy perhaps we might have from drinking that 6 cup of coffee sometimes could be a placebo effect. So in reality, energy is what you have to focus on. It's the ability to be persistent and grounded when you're able to focus on what you're doing. And therefore, your attention is less divided. If you're trying to be more productive, don't take your time to analysis and paralysis, because we know by study that pay attention to what consumes your attention and don't analyze how much you spend on your time is something the organizational psychologist Adam Grant has said. And he's the best-selling author of 5 books. And you might say, Sabrina, did you just say that we need to use Pomodoro technique? Well, now, yeah, there's a catch. The technique only works when I know exactly what to do to spend my 80% time on that 20% specific activity. The criteria is you have to figure out what you need to do to produce the maximum amount of impact, not to get swing into distraction, discouragement, or disinterest zones. So what does that mean to you to figure out this out as a leader, as a provider? And you are more than just a manager, right? Just to keep things at flow. You are a visionary. Visionary means doing more things on the designing part than just day-to-day grinding part. If you're drained by all the demands, all the expectation, you're not able to play into that powerful role that you have created for yourself. So if you like today's episode so far, please make sure you share with other medical leaders and practice owners who also love to be on this boat of learning journey with you, and they will truly be appreciated with you. And we don't ask you to pay us anything. We certainly only ask you to pay it forward. All right. So when we talk about energy, there are 4 chronotypes Dr. Michael Bruce have talked about in his book, The Power of When. It's really based on circadian rhythm, the early, the midday, the night, and the never sleepers. So based on all of this, medical literature also supports us in when we are working 1 extra hours, our ability of cognitive deciding goes down. And if we sleep even just 1 missed night, and that can also cut down our decision, our correct way of processing information. And when they found people who sleep 5 hours or less, it affect our languages, our numerical scale, the retention to information, short-term memory, concentration, all decreases on standardized testing. And at the end of the day, time is constricted. And we needed to really think about what does it mean to understand the flow of time when you have the maximum energy? Because if you take on average, everyone has 24 hours a day. Yeah. And then if we sleep for 8 hours, the rest of 16 hours of that 80-20 rule, correct? That 20% really is 3 hours. 3 hours of most impactful concentrated time. That also matches with neurological studies where we know peak performance only has 2 to 3 hours in a day. And that's how we have to think about when we're high on energy and high on concentration, what do we have to do? This is how we have to think about time and energy. Time is constrictive because there are only set amount of time each day, while energy is flexible because there is an element of choice to do certain tasks at certain time, and you can reboot it. Time is infinite and out of control, while energy is renewable and in your control. Time is stopping all distraction about what you're doing, energy is being mindful of distraction and when you want to do certain thing. Better use your time on what you can control, energy, versus what you cannot control, time. And we have to really think about these resources on the continuum. On the flip side, we don't have to think about time as a limited resource. Time has no bounds and it's continuous. If we put a restriction on time, then we will constantly see it as something lacking, a limited consciousness instead of being a continuum, which is prosperity consciousness. All right, so let's audit your energy so you know where you are. Best way to know what to change, what to do better is be more self-aware. Okay, so ultimately is knowing where you are so then you can replenish your energy. There's a couple of exercises I would suggest you to do. You can do it on a journal or a blank sheet of paper. Now, we want you to draw a horizontal axis is time, right? The wake up time to sleep time. And then the vertical one means low energy, high energy. You wanted to draw because you wanted to see a line. Whereas the things fluctuate up and down, well, things change, right? Based on weekday, weekends, whether you're traveling, you're home, health issues and whatnot. And in reality, even when it fluctuates, we want to just get a gauge of what's happening around us. And you also want to score it, whether it's positive event, negative event, or neutral. An energy audit really simply just tell you what's been happening in your life for the past day, past week. Applying an energy audit really pinpoints on the type of activity you naturally drawn to and what you can say need to identify as a distraction or disinterest that need to be removed. We tend to, of course, push ourselves, right? And when you feel more confident, and then you can have a better way to overcome the setbacks. Believe that you have control versus externally thinking you are lacking in control. Because productivity is a result of prioritizing more activity that are important to you than the other things. So once you're able to do this audit, you're able to label the activities, the energy level you have in an activity, whether they're positive, negative, or neutral. And then you can think about, is it something you really love to do versus is your skill set? When you take all that into consideration, then we can go into what's called a focus funnel. We'll talk about that in a later day. If you're interested to learn that right away, drop me a voice message. Go to sabrinarunbeck.com/connect to send me a message, and we'll walk you through that. And there are other activities and things that might be very beneficial for you. Go to the episode that I have on my podcast on June 15th called How to Be a Finisher, Not Just a Starter in 3 Steps. That also get more deeper into what do you have to boost your mind to move forward. All right, so now you did an energy audit and trying to create that compass of freedom. The first step where most of my clients immediately can cut 10 to 20 hours off their week right away. And then when you apply to the 4 energy cycles, then you can think about, oh, okay, I'm very intentional knowing where I need to focus on what things. And then you might say, Sabrina, but what if I have started divot down my energy? What do I do? That's when you do the 2 minutes mini mental vacation. I've been talking about that a lot on how to reset with multiple exercise, body awareness, whatnot. So if you like to know how to do that, also send me a message or hop on a quick call with me. I always love to have virtual coffee chat with people. All right. So at the end of the day, everything you need to be very catered to you. And today we talked about time management, and maybe you have plenty of time to spend with the right people, right things, and for them to do the right things for you. But life get into the way and new projects come into your path of life. And perhaps there's a fire that you didn't expect you have to put out today. So it's all about how to manage our energy better versus just the time that you have to spend. Now, we also discussed the major 6 things, and let's just do a quick review. Number 1, we talked about the dog and the nail story, and really think about, are we sitting on something that's painful, but not painful enough that we have not take a separate course of action that's really truly causing us more pain and more issues. And especially as a healthcare business leader, what you do and don't do are so crucial in how your business and your patient are taken care of, how your whole team is involved, and how your financially, your family are being impacted. So make sure you get rid of those pain points. And inaction is very costly. Number two, when you are successful and wanted to continue to grow, and being successful leader is not just having that title. And most of the people might not have gotten an MBA or read into management, marketing, branding, and all those lingos out there because we've been training years after years in being just the best provider we can be. And that being said, what is your actual projection of your life? What is that goal look like? How do you want to live your life while creating the type of impact in your community? And we want it to be super clear, because if you don't know where you're going, it's really difficult for you to come up with any plan to even get there. And number three, time block. Time block can be very successful for you if you know what to do. If you don't, then you have to do an audit to even start with what type of activities you're doing, how much energy you're spending on each, how skillful you are with each, and then are you actually like doing them? And to optimize your productivity, you have to think about creating the time freedom. And if you don't have the capacity to do, no matter how well you're doing things, and you're just going to get more busier as we go on with life. And this one method can save you at least 10 hours a week. Right, number four is there are 4 types of energy cycles, chronotype. Figure out which one you are, because that can help you to predict what's your peak performance hours based on when you wake up, really, right? When your energy go up and down. So you wanted to spend that prime 3 hours on the things that's most important to you, whether that's seeing patients or running that big project, combining with other practices, or having another lead in your practice for another physician, whatever that means for you. Number 5, energy management works by ensuring that you take time between each sprint of most important work. So we talk about the 2 mini mental vacation, or it's other ways that you have found helpful for you to recharge. And it's not to say you have to wait until you are super tired. You need to be able to recharge in between things to keep maintaining that fully charged battery, right? That whole fully oxygenated tank. You don't want the balloon to be completely deflated. Then trying to blow that up is very difficult, right? And then lastly, but not least, 6, have an abundance mindset. Time is continuous, unpredictable, but energy is rechargeable and more in your control. And knowing, having that abundance mindset, that you can find the right people, right resources, right thing for the right position, and you are always going to be able to figure things out that can go a long way. Yes, we all have to think about consequences, but if you got trapped in analysis paralysis, nothing will actually going to happen for you. Perhaps what you need to do is write an affirmation before you begin a task, or really truly state something you believe in your ability yourself. Or how do you want to show up for that person, that meeting, that patient before you step into that door? So you can give your full attention with those characters in mind.
Thank you for listening. Remember, the positive change we're seeking starts right here with me and you. If you are a fan of the show, or if you are just having struggles or success that you're either experienced in the past or are experiencing now in the healthcare industry, these matter to all of us. I want to hear from you. Visit sabrinarunbeck.com/connect and send me a direct message. Talk soon!